A user on Vortex says, considering ordering lowering springs since coilovers aren't in my budget right now. To my understanding, there are progressive and linear springs, and what I've gathered from research is that progressive springs can cause premature wear on stock dampers. Is this correct? Right now it's a toss-up between VWR Sport Springs and H&R Spring. Any suggestions would be helpful. Thanks.
Okay, so springs, when you talk about progressive versus linear springs, pretty much all springs out there, all lowering springs in the market are progressive rate springs. Before we did this video, we actually looked to see if we could find any linear springs, and we actually could not. Even the H&R race springs and the New Speed race springs, from as far as we can tell, are both progressive rate springs. So for anybody who's not familiar with the difference between linear and progressive, linear springs are the same coil distance all the way through the spring, top to bottom. We'll try to find some pictures to show examples. A progressive rate spring is the coils are tighter on one part of it and fatter on the other. This gives you a more comfortable ride for daily use, but under heavy use, it gets into the tighter part of the coil and gives you that more stiff ride. And that's what you'll see on pretty much all lowering springs, because it will give you the best mix between daily drivable and something that has a little more sporty handling. Now, the difference between H&R versus VWR, that's going to be a matter of preference. They're both going to be used a progressive rate spring. They're going to be about a similar drop if you're comparing H&R Sports versus VWR. We sell a lot of VWR, that's most people's preference, but we also sell the H&R one fairly regularly as well. Both are a great choice. Both are going to give you similar ride and are not an issue when it comes to shocks, as long as you're not going crazy low. So if you slam the car on the ground on some race springs that it's like a 2-inch or 2.5-inch drop on springs and stock shocks, you're probably going to have potential ride problems or possibly bottom out the shock because the travel is not intended to go that short. But on a mild drop, you know, inch and a half, like what you're referring to on those springs, you should be all set and shouldn't have any serious problems. Thank you for watching episode 14 of the AskDAP Show. If you want your questions answered, shoot us an email, info@shopdap.com.